Kyle Norris here with Mayor Bruce Berry after the June 5th City Council meeting. Mayor, thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
So there was a pre-meeting today. It was a personnel committee meeting where basically what had happened was you were discussing with your supervisor heads what's going to be out of the new health insurance plan. You guys were looking to make a motion to switch to a new health insurance plan, move to specifically to an HRA, and that ended up having a lot of discussion before it ended up being passed unanimously. What exactly is going to be the change in this health insurance coverage for city employees?
Basically, the change is going to be, right now we've been with Blue Cross Blue Shield. We're going to stay with them, but we're just going to handle the deductible and the out-of-pocket costs a little bit. The city is going to take some of the out-of-pocket expenses and pay for them in order to lower our premiums. So a lot of the municipalities have went to an HRA, and we're just following a lot of the other municipalities.
And so it ended up creating a lot of discussion because there are going to be negotiations and union talks here coming up. How do you think this new health insurance system is going to end up affecting those discussions?
I honestly think it's a win-win for both of us. You know, the employees are going to keep basically their same services in the same plan, and we're just going to try, you know, if luck holds for us, then it will be a win for the city because we will be able to save money. Now, there is a chance the city could end up losing money on this, but I honestly think the greater chance is that we'll save money and be able to spend it on other ways instead of just giving it to Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Okay, and so once we got to the meeting, the first big issue that kind of came up was the water treatment plant contract, where it's now going to be reworked and sent back to the contractor, where it's basically going to say, you know, you're going to be paid based on when we receive this money from the state. So why exactly is that being done?
We've already been approved for the loan, $25.6 million, and we just want the insurance that the state, with the mess that they're in right now, that we get the proper appropriations so that the treasurer, once we are approved for payments, that we will receive the checks in a timely manner. We don't want to get held back by us not getting money from the state, and then of course we cannot pay our general contractor. So we're wanting him to be involved in this decision making, and we're pretty sure that he will sign our contract, and the state has given us all assurances that the money's been appropriated, that it will be, that the money is there for our loan. They wouldn't give us the approval if the money wasn't there, but we have to get the proper appropriations.
Something you mentioned in your report, it's something that we've reported on numerous times over the past month or so, is everything happening with Missions for Taylorville, and that happened. Was on Saturday.
Yes, that happened Saturday. I met with a lot of the volunteers at the Memorial Hospital. We gave them breakfast and also a sack lunch. I rode around some with Reverend Kearns, just checking on the different properties. I had my notebook out, collecting other data for Taylorville's cleanup of simple properties. I told some of the volunteers if they would just put the stuff on the boulevard, the city would go by and pick it up, which we did already today. So as far as the missions, it was a wonderful day, a little bit warm in the afternoon, but we had a lot of volunteers and a lot of good help, and I want to thank Reverend Kearns again for this.
And how many properties or projects ended up being completed?
I believe we had 23 that were completed. You'd have to check with Reverend Kearns, but basically it's 23 of them were completed that I know of.
Okay, cool. All right. And so there was more TIF district talk today. There was a resolution that was on the table looking to be passed, and again it was still kind of divided, kind of same lines of who wanted it, who doesn't want it. What exactly was passed today when it comes to the TIF districts?
I think what this was passed today was a resolution that we are going to continue with the TIF district, and what this possible hotel had sent us a letter requesting that we give them a resolution so they can start maybe purchasing the property and stuff, and they will be included in the TIF. And the vote was 6-2, which there's still a couple aldermen that aren't on board with the TIF, but I think it's a very good tool that we can use to move forward.
And so finally, one of the final things from today was the fire department had put something up for committee, and then it was uh, sent to the board here tonight. The fire department wanted to put together some flyers, basically to kind of let people know about services in the city for taking care of people, that kind of stuff. Maybe to try and decrease nuisance calls.
Right.
And so that ended up having a lot of discussion.
At our committee meeting last Thursday, we had a lady come from a private company that does so many services like bathing, launder for the elderly and different things. And she asked if we could maybe give her and Cruz was all on board with handing out flyers, which I know there's more than one company that does it in Taylorville, so we were going to hand out all the flyers because we get so many calls. The fire department gets calls with which somebody has maybe just fallen or needs help getting into the bathroom. And not that we won't do these calls, it's just that it takes time away. The city has to, if they have two firemen go to that, then we have to call in extra help for other calls, and it costs the city overtime pay. And it's just they're not really nuisance calls, but it's just they're non-emergency calls that we think could be better handled by the private citizens. But it was tabled tonight. I think there needs to be more discussion, and maybe that's something that the fire department does or does not want to get involved with, where we're almost recommending some private companies to come into somebody's home. We don't really want maybe the liability issue or things like that. So that'll be discussed at another committee meeting this month.
Kyle Norris again with Mayor Bruce Berry after the June 5th City Council meeting. Mayor, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kyle.